Guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Cerebral Conversations. And I always say this, but I always say this about all of them because all of them are special, but this one is special because I've had the honor and the privilege of being on this man's podcast, and he's graced me with his presence again to be on mine. And this to my left or to my right or whatever direction this is facing, because I'm not sure how to look in the YouTube on the YouTube recording, but this is Nick Earhart, and I'll have him introduce himself.
Yeah, so thank you for the great introduction. But yeah, I'm Nick Earhart. I have cerebral palsy as well. But, just like you, I've never let that stop me from achieving my goals and pushing through every single day.
Nice, nice, and that's great to hear because I mean, as often as because it's kind of weird because we think that everybody thinks like us, and that's not the case. It's kind of crazy to see how many people are sort of negative towards it. So I'm
Yep.
glad that since doing this and posting on social media and stuff, I've been able to meet people like you and people like myself, and hopefully we can help change minds and things like that. So the first question I have for you is, what was it like for you growing up with cerebral palsy?
So for me, like, I mean, every day is a challenge. So there's that. But thankfully, I had parents who had the right mindset about, me having a disability. You know, they necessarily didn't look at it as a disability. It was more of, I have different abilities. So they were always pushing me to figure out what I could do. And, a lot of parents are afraid to, push their kids and, try to make their kids do more. But honestly, that's the best thing that my parents could have ever done. And I will say, my dad, he was a hard ass on me. Like my whole childhood, he was always just like, here, you gotta do this. And then like, I lived on a farm, so I had chores every day, just like any other kid would. So like at home, you know, I wasn't treated any different than anybody else. Like there were many days that, I simply forgot I had a disability because my parents just did not use that as an excuse and did not allow me to use it as an excuse to not do things. So yeah, like, I just I kept fighting my whole childhood. School was the most difficult. First off, the school system wanted me in special ed, and me and my parents did not want that. I wanted to go through mainstream schooling just like everybody else. So we fought hard, and we were able to get me an aide. Somebody who's with me all day, so they can help me when I need help. Write for me, all that sort of stuff. So, that was my school. Like I just I went through school just like everybody else. And I mean, I used a wheelchair even though I could walk, but I used a wheelchair more like a car just to get around school faster because I walk slower than average. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was really great, you know.
Yeah. So for me in school, I had an aide as well. I had an aide up until I ended up transferring to a different school, and at that point, I didn't really need an aide because the class sizes were smaller and the school
Yep.
was a little bit smaller. But going through elementary and most of middle school, I had an aide as well. And for some reason, and I don't know if you went through this too, but taking standardized tests, did you have to like go with um other special needs kids into like a separate area? Because that's how it was for me. I don't know if you stayed with the regular class.
So I went into my own room basically, where it was just me and my aide, because I had to verbally speak the answers, so then they could write down the answer or fill in the little bubbles. So
Oh,
that's what
okay.
we did. I just went into my basically my own room, and then we just took the test.
Oh, okay, okay. That's different. I've never heard of that before. Because for me
Yep.
in school, I always used to kind of wonder like why am I going to this like separate room with these kids when like mentally I'm just as I'm just as capable as the quote unquote normal kids in the class. So
Yep.
that's always something I like to ask because I'm always curious and I never really understood why. So
Yeah. I just did it because I I didn't want to give my answers to the rest of the class.
yeah. So yeah. That was great. That's great. That's good. That's good to know. But okay, so my next question is, and I like to get a little deep on podcasts. So
Mhm.
if anything ever feels uncomfortable, just let me know. But the next question I have is, were there ever moments where you kind of questioned why you had it? Like, were there ever moments where you just kind of like like had a bad mental day and kind of questioned why?
Of course, yeah. It's it's not easy when you have a disability of any sort, and
Hmm.
I like when you're a child and you first start realizing that you're different than your friends. That takes a mental toll on you, where you're unable to do things with your friends. Like one thing that stands out to me is and this was actually when I got a little older, but it's still, you know, there was a mental toll because of this, and it was around middle school. All of my friends were into skateboarding. Okay,
Hmm.
so I got a skateboard because I wanted to be just like everybody else. And I tried to ride that skateboard for hours every day, trying to figure it out. But every single time I stepped on that board, I went down right on my butt, and I had bruises. I was cut up and everything. But finally, my mom's like, "Nick, just stop hurting yourself. Like, find something that you can do." So. I just went back to riding a bicycle, because I learned how to ride bicycle when I was 8 years old without training wheels, and so I just went back to that. And so when my friends were out skateboarding, I would just go with them on my bicycle. But that was tough because I wanted to do that with my friends so bad, but it was just something that I could not do because I didn't have the balance like everybody else.
Okay. Wow, I didn't know you could ride a bike. Like it's a
Yep.
regular bike, right? Like there's no like
Yep.
oh wow, okay.
And
That's something I can't do. I can't ride a
well,
bike.
don't say you can't. You
All
just
right.
haven't tried enough yet.
That yeah, that's true. That's
Because
true.
trust me, it took a long time for me to figure that one out.
Hmm.
That took longer than I tried to skateboard, but riding bike you know, it was a lot more fun for me, and you know, I had a bike since I was little, but that they always had training wheels, so
Hmm.
I really knew the fun of it. But I just wanted to do it without training wheels, you know, just like my friends.
Hmm.
So yeah, and it's kind of funny looking back on that because that was like a big accomplishment for me, learning how to ride a bike, and I ended up c- collecting bicycles. At one point, I had 14 different bicycles.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, it was one of those things. I liked it so much that I started I collecting them.
Nice.
And I still ride here and there, but not as much as I would like to.
Yeah, for me, when it came to riding bikes and stuff, I I remember when I was younger, my dad bought. I had to have been around like 4 or 5. My dad got me a bike, and I don't really remember the conversation, but from what my mom has told other people, and me being nosy and wanting to listen, she would always
Mhm.
question, "Why'd you buy him the bike? You can't ride the bike." And my dad, and from what my dad has told me, he said that the reason he got me the bike was so that it could give me, the chance to, kind of realize like just because you have this going on doesn't mean you can't do what everybody else can. You can't do what
Exactly.
everybody else can do. So that's the reason he got me the bike. But one
Yep.
thing I did learn how to ride was a scooter, and I felt really accomplished that I could ride a scooter. If I can't
Oh
ride a
yeah,
bike, I could damn sure ride a scooter. So
there you go. That's awesome. And that's what it's all about. Figuring out what you can do. I know me and you talked about that on my podcast. Just figure out what you can do. Don't focus on what you can't do. Focus on what you can do.
mhm. So now my next question, and this might sound a bit confusing because I'm not sure how to word it and make it make sense, but in my head it makes sense. Like, do you feel like people with cerebral palsy try too hard to quote unquote be like everybody else, that they forget that they're like that they have their own things that they're good at?
100% yes. So this is actually something that I struggled with my whole life. Um, I always tried to hide the fact that I had CP. Now, as
Mhm.
you know, you cannot hide this.
You
Like
definitely can't.
it's not possible to hide this, but that's literally what I would try to do. Like I would try to walk better, but honestly, I think I walk worse when I focus on walking than
Yeah,
if I
rather than
actually
just
just
walking
walk.
normally.
Exactly. So, but and then like I was constantly just you know trying to hide it. Like we would go to a restaurant and I would have somebody else order my food, so then the waiter or the waitress wouldn't hear me talk because I didn't want them to know that I talk a little different. Like just
Mhm.
that's how I lived, and it wasn't until about 2 years ago. Now I'm 32 years old, so 30 years of my life I lived in shame for having CP. That's basically how I can put it. I was ashamed of it. And 2 years ago, I learned how to accept it and embrace it and love myself for who I am. And once people can do that, your whole world changes.
Mhm.
Because I mean, I think you can agree. When you're out in public, you know, you're worried about what other people are thinking of you.
Yeah.
Man, if you let go of that, the sky's the limit. Like, who cares? Who cares what they think? Who cares that they're staring? Just be you, because your life is not theirs. So don't lower your quality of life just because you're worried about what other people think of you. Just
Mhm.
live your life. And one thing, like, I'm sure you know, but when little kids stare, they just don't understand. So, like, don't worry about it. And like for me, sometimes like, I'll walk up to the parent and I'll tell them what I have so then they can explain it to their children, so then the children understand. But yeah, I mean, I lived basically my whole life like that. Like I wouldn't say I forgot I had it, which I do forget I have it sometimes, but you know, I just I didn't embrace it.
Yeah. Going back to what you said about the little kids staring, like like with the little kids staring, I find it funny now because it's like the little kids are, because you know how little kids are, they'll just randomly ask questions like, "Why do you walk like that?" And
Oh yeah,
it's funny to see your parents be like, "Johnny, don't say that," and I'll be like, "No, no, it's fine," because kids are curious, and kids don't have a filter. Kids don't have a
exactly.
filter. So it's funny to see the parents look all shocked, like, oh my God, he's gonna be offended. Like, yo, I make fun of myself every day. It's fine.
Yeah, and it's yeah, little kids are cute. Like my best friend has a 4-year-old little girl,
Mm-hmm.
and recently this is her new thing. She'll say, "Nick, I I hear you talking, but I don't understand what you're saying." She says it all the time, and it's just the cutest little thing. So then I repeat myself until she, understands, but it's just so cute, you know?
Yeah. So I have a few more questions because I don't want to keep this too long because you are a busy man.
Mhm.
You're a busy man. But one of the main questions I wanted to, I really can't, I know I should have wrote down some of these questions, but one of the main questions I wanted to ask you was, why did you decide to become a motivational speaker or like a life coach?
Yeah, so this actually happened, you know, like basically on accident. Um,
Oh,
I never planned on any of this, and
same here.
yeah, it just kind of happened. But I'll tell you how it happened. So I was interested in buying real estate, like multi-family homes to rent out, small apartment buildings, all that.
Hmm.
So that's how I found Grant Cardone, and he owns, a 10X. That's his brand. I'm a 10X certified coach, so I got certified by him and all that. But when I started looking into real estate, I found him, and I got into one of his programs where they just kind of teach you how to start a business and how to grow and all that. And through that, I had a coach, and I was talking to my coach one day, and he was like, I know you want to do real estate, which is awesome, but have you ever thought about being a coach yourself? And I was like, no, I've never even had a coach until now, so I didn't even think of that. So after he said that, I started looking into it, and I was like, huh, because he told me, my coach said, he's like, Nick, you have a unique gift and a way of helping others and a way that nobody else can. Like, your story, what you've been through, you can use all of that to help others. And I had never thought of that before, So I started looking into coaching. And I come to find that Grant Cardone had a coaching program, which is what I got certified through. So I went through that to learn how to become a coach, how to build a business more. Everything about business. I tr- I train every single morning on just how to become better myself and how to grow my business and help others with theirs. So yeah, through all of that is when I realized like I actually like doing this. Like I like helping other people. I want to help as many people as I can. So, you February 28th of 2023, so a little over a year ago, I recorded my first video for social media. And as of today, I've reached well over 1 million people on social media, and that's me helping people. All of my content is, inspirational, helpful. I talk about having a growth and positive mindset. I talk about how to build your confidence. Like, all of my content is free. It's free help. So if anybody listening, find me on social media, and I'm helping hundreds of thousands of people every day. So it's really awesome. Well, yeah, I love being a coach. I love being a motivational speaker. I love doing a podcast. Like, this is just my way to help others.
Nice, nice. Your story actually sounds kind of similar to mine, to where I remember I was speaking with my mentor one day because I think I mentioned to you before that I work on the side. I work with a financial services company on the side. I
Yep.
can't I again, like I said before, I can't go too deep into it because of compliance reasons, and I don't want to,
Yep.
I don't want the big black van pulling up and yeah, no. But I remember we were talking about some stuff, and he's like, let's film some stuff. And I was
Mhm.
like, would you mind if I did like a quick 5 minute interview with you? He's like, yeah, sure. And when we finished it, he's like, you're really good at this. Why don't you do more of this? I know you want to do this, but you can also do these interviews as a way to, like, not all not as well as helping people with their finances, you could also help with them, personally and emotionally. So
Yep.
that's how I got started doing this and posting, my motivational content. And I
Hmm.
post a lot of fitness stuff too, just to show
Hmm.
people, like, just because you have cerebral palsy, like, doesn't mean you can't, go to the gym or
Yep.
improve your body in some ways. The because as even because even though cerebral palsy is um mental disability as well, like, if you work on the physical, the mental will also improve. So
Exactly. 100%.
yeah, that was a really good little that was a really good little section. How do I top that now? So the next the one of the last these are going to be the last two questions, by the way, because I don't want to
Okay.
keep you for too much longer, because I know you have stuff to do. But the second to last question I have for you is, what was the moment when you realized, like, I'm 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 making a difference? When was the moment that you realized that?
So, trying to think back. I mean, that's hard because, like, right away after I started posting on social media every day, I got tons of feedback, comments saying, Nick, you're amazing. This is so helpful. Um, you're inspirational for having the courage to record and help other people. So it was kind of immediately when I started posting on social media, and that's why I like doing social media so much. I mean, like, look it is 100% free. You don't pay for it, so I use it.
Mm.
And like, it's just over the past, year and 3 months, I have literally helped so many people. Like, I've had three people that I can think of right now that have sent me messages saying that I saved their life.
Oh, wow.
Like, the last one I got, they messaged me and they said I was on my way home to end it all. I I was done with life. I was just giving up, and I pulled into my driveway. I grabbed my phone. I opened up Facebook for some reason, and you popped up first. And I had never seen you in my life, but your video was so inspiring that I decided that today is not the day that I end it. I'm going to keep going and push through. So, and I still talk to that person because they messaged me. We started talking, and they're doing really good now. So, honestly, like the first one of those I got, it hit me like a wall. You know, I I broke down. I started crying. Very emotional because like, whoa, literally saving people's lives by simply posting videos about things that I believe in on social media. It's it's not difficult, but it's making an impact and it's helping others. So yeah, I mean, I hope that answers that question. But yeah, I mean, it's been just crazy how things work out. You know.
No, no, that definitely answered my question. That wow. Like,
Yeah.
damn, it makes me. Yeah, I was gonna share mine, but now I don't know if I want to share it because it doesn't feel as deep.
Well, so here's one thing that I've learned: don't don't compare yourself to others. We're all unique. So no matter like where I'm at compared to you're at, your story is just as inspirational as mine. So don't ever be afraid to share anything.
Yeah, like I've had like there's one specific thing that I remember, I remember completely, and it was I remember it because it was when my driving instructor, who I mentioned on your podcast,
Mhm.
he ended up recording a video of the day I got my driver's license, and I remember when I posted it on Instagram, I posted it on Facebook. I got the normal, oh my gosh, this is great and everything. But it wasn't until
Yeah.
my friend Phil, who again, like I said on your podcast, you should definitely have on your podcast because I think it would really be a really good episode. But it wasn't
Hmm.
until he messaged me and he was like, "I saw your video. I'm gonna go get my permit." And he ended up getting his permit recently. So
That's so awesome, dude. Like so cool.
yeah,
That's
just the fact that me getting, because for most people getting their driver's license is like, oh, okay, this is normal. I'm supposed to get it. But the fact that I got mine is such a big accomplishment. But not only that, but the fact that I was able to help someone realize like, oh shit, I can get mine too if he got it. That's what sticks with me the most.
yeah, 100%. That's so incredible. And how I look at it is that is massive because you helped him get the courage to go get his permit. Okay, so you helped his life significantly. And now, because he has his permit and is going to get his license, he's going to be able to help who knows how many more people. So technically, you just helped an unlimited amount of people just by that one thing.
All right. So, just letting you know, we have about 10 minutes left on the Zoom call because I do not have the pro version because I am a broke man. Not,
No problem.
I won't be broke for 2 months longer. The goal is to, build a business and, and do stuff and help a lot of people while doing it. But my last question for you is, and it's going to be similar to the one I kind of asked you on your podcast, but when it comes to the cerebral palsy community, what advice do you have for them? And what advice do you have for the community as a whole that may be feeling like they're down in the dumps? And is there anything that you think that we could do better?
Yeah. So for the community as a whole, stop being so negative. Like seriously, I'm tired of the what I call, people playing the poor me game. You
Mm-hmm.
know, poor me, I got a disability, so I can't do this. I can't do that. It's unfair. I can't get help. Okay, you're just playing victim, and I know the system is not fair. I totally get it, but there's always something that you can do to improve your situation. So stop for a moment and reflect on your life. I would say journal. Journal about your problems. Get it all out on paper because if it's on paper, or like me, I use my phone because a lot of us can't write very good. So, I use my phone to journal. Just get it out, write it all down, look through it, and go, okay, how can I fix this? And come up with solutions. Some of your solutions might not even be possible, but they're solutions because then you'll be able to figure out, okay, I can at least improve on this. I might not be able to solve it, but I can improve on it. So that would be my advice. Just try to improve your situation as much as you can on your own, and don't expect help from others.
Okay, that is yeah, that is great. And I wanted to end this episode on a quote, and I wanted to get your quick thoughts on this quote. And I wanted to get your quick thoughts on this quote. So I, yeah, because we don't have that much longer, and I don't want to cut it off mid conversation. So,
Yep.
but when you hear the quote, "Success is just as challenging as failure," what are your
Mhm.
thoughts?
Yeah, so whether you want to live a poor life where you don't achieve anything, or you want to live a successful life where you have an abundance around you, it's all gonna be hard. It's all gonna suck at times. So choose your hard. Are you gonna choose failure your whole life, which is hard? Or are you going to choose success your whole life, which is also hard? So yeah, choose your hard.
Okay, that was a great way to end it. So, guys, this has been another episode of Cerebral Conversations, season two, by the way, because season one had 7 episodes. Season two, I don't know how many episodes season two is going to have, but this has been Cerebral Conversation season two. I'm going to have Nick outro himself and plug anything he wants to plug. I'm following him on multiple social media platforms, so I will probably have those in the description somewhere. So,
Yeah,
hey,
so this was really great. Thank you. And for anybody listening, if you want to reach out to me, just find me on social media. Nick Earhart, NICKYERHART. You can also find me through my website, www.nickearhart.com. Thank you so much.
all right. Again, like I said, this was Nick Earhart. This has been me. I have a name for this podcast. Thank you, Deja, for giving me the name to this podcast because that other guy, that bald guy, John, he doesn't know how to. I'm throwing shots because he's my friend. He doesn't know how to give me a name on time. But again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back soon. Hopefully, I can get Nick on a roundtable discussion soon.
Oh, yeah,
So,
for sure.
but this has been Cerebral Conversation Season 2, like I said, and thank you